Hi everyone. Let's continue our JavaScript topics with the subtopics DOM form, right? So another subtopic that you have to know if you use DOM, how to use form for your HTML document. I'm Sarina from Faculty of Computing, so we can start to learn this topic. Alright, for the first, before you start your form, DOM for form, so you have to know how to apply the form object. Why you have to use this form object? Because this form object will represent in your HTML form. That's why you have to know how to apply this form object. The way how you apply it, so you have to apply it using the form text. And then, so you have, after you create the form text, so you have to create the form objects. How you can apply it, as mentioned in this slide, the way how you apply it, so you have to use a specific main form method, okay, document.form.submit. The next one is document.form.reset, and the last one, the last method, document.form.action, and you call the file of PHP, for example here, register.php. And then another part, another methods that you can use for your main form is document.form, you number it, and then dot elements and give the number. And the last part is you have to make sure that every input, select, and text area, you have to consider it in as your form elements. And the next part is an examples how you can apply DOM form to your page, right? So how you can use it? Okay, you have to start with create the form, give the form name, and then what is the action on submit, and then you have to assign the input text for that specific form, right? And now you can the way how you can access all these elements by using document.personal.name, and then the next one, if you want to call the address, document.personal.address, and the last one, if you want to call the city name, so you just call using document.personal.city. Right, the next one, you have to know how to apply, how to get the data by using the form. For example here, if you want to get your data from the text, or either text areas, text, or another one is hidden fields. So what you have to do, you have to include user input. For example here, the way how you have to use it, user input, document.form, and then .text.value, where you can change the text with the name of the text field, of text area, or hidden field, right? Because why you can change it here, because this is the value of these elements, right? So you can transfer this text to your user input. And the next one, the next part that you have to know, how to set the value. Okay, this is the way how you can do that. So you have to set document.form.text.value equal to the new value. And the next one that you have to know in DOM form is how to select the boxes. Okay, the way how you can do that, how you can select the boxes are very simple. Okay, you just use user input equal to document.forms.select.value, and the way how you change the selected options in that select box you can change it by using the select index. So the examples or the method how you apply it, you just use document.forms.select.select index. If the number of index is 2, so you just put number 2. So meaning that you have 2 selection. Alright. The next one, if you apply TextBox to your form, so this is slightly different approach that you can use. So meaning that if you use TextBox, you already know the value, but you want to make sure that whether the user has to make sure that it's already there. The value is there. So you want the user to check it. So you can apply TextBox. Okay. So this TextBox will make sure that either the value is true or false. Right, this is the way how you can apply TextBox. You start with call the form first, document.form, and then .textbox.text, and then you call the user input. The user input equal to document.form, and then .textbox.name. And the next part is to check a checkbox. You have to set the property of that checks to the true. For example, here, document.form.checkbox.checks equal to true. Right, the next implementations for your forms is RadioButton. In this case, unfortunately, about the RadioButton, it's not possible to see at once which RadioButton in a group the user has to check. So what you have to do, you need to go through all the radios and see which ones will check property is true. So you have to make sure which one will be checked true and others is false. And the way how you can apply the RadioButton as shown in the slide. So you start with the for I equal to 0, and then you check the I is less than document.form.radio.length. So then you check again if document.form.radios check one by one, right? Then according to user input, document.form.radios and .value. So this is the way how you can apply RadioButton to your form. Alright, so when we talk about RadioButton, actually we apply it with the name of the group of RadioButtons, right? And you have to call the document first, document.form, and then .radios. So this is the way how you apply it, because these RadioButtons, it shows in array field with all the RadioButtons, right? And then you have to in your program will loop through all the items and see if it is checked by the user. If one is checked by the user, then transfer the value of the RadioButton to the user input. This is the way how you can apply RadioButton. And the way or the method that you have to use using elements, because it's apply array, right? var form document gets element by ID. So you call the form name. For example, here is my form, and then form.elements.value, and the last one is form.elements.value equal to the new value that we insert by the user. Alright. Other than form, another part that important for you to know, if you apply JavaScript, especially for DOMs, so you have to involve with EvenHandling, right? So EvenHandling is very important to make sure that when the user click the form, for examples, so you have to make sure that something will be, you show to the user something will happen with the web page. For example, you can apply it when the user mouse click, so what happened? So there is an event that will happen after the user click the mouse. And then the next part, you also can apply event handling for the web page loading. And the next one, on mouse over, if you apply hotspot on for mouse over, if the user go to the web page, we call it as hovering. And the next part, if you want to do selecting an input box in a specific HTML form, you also can do that. And the last part, you also can use event handling for a keystroke. Okay, so what is the different occurrences will generate different types of events if you apply event handling. For example here, when the user move the mouse over some of the hyperlink, you can see it will be different even when the user click the mouse on the hyperlink. Okay, you can see the different color of it, for example. And also, even the same occurrence can generate different type of event based on context. For example, if you apply the event handling especially for mouse move, for example, when the user click the mouse over a submit button, so you can generate different events when the user click the mouse over the reset button. So this is the different event handling that will happen if the user click the mouse. Alright, so another important part that you have to know when you apply combinations of functions, right? So for example, you apply for onload and unload for specific events, right? So you want to make sure that the user enter or leave the page. So you have to check. Onload event is often used to check the visitor's browser type and browser version, and load the proper versions. Right. The onload events is often used to check the visitor's browser type and browser version, and load the proper versions of the web page based on the informations. And then both the onload and unload events are also often used to deal if you apply with the cookies, and that should be set when a user enter or leave the page. So it is another important part if you apply onload and unload event handling. And for example, you can see here, you also can have a pop-up to asking the user give a name on the first arrival or use the page. So they have to put or to give the input their names, and at last the name will be stored as a cookie. Then when the next time visitor arrive at the same page, the user can see another pop-up will say, welcome to, for example, my name Sarina or John Doe. Right. Another implementations you can also use on focus, on blur, and also on change for your elements, HTML elements, right? So you use it normally for combinations with validations of form field, right? The examples, how can you use Unchanged events, especially to check an email function? Okay, you can see here, this is the way how you apply it. You can refer to the slide and then see how you can apply it. Okay. Input type equal to text, and then you define the size, and then ID is email, and then on change, check the email. So this is the way how you apply event handlers, especially for email. And the next one is on submit. So this on submit events, you can use it to validate any form field before the user submit the form, right? And you can use check form function to make sure that it will call when the user click the submit button in that form. And if the field value are not accept, so the submit will be cancelled. And the next part, the function will check the form, return either it's true or false. If the return is true, the form will be submitted. If not, the user can't submit the form. This is the way how you apply it, the form method. Okay. Form method equal to post action. You call the specific page. For example, here the x.html, and then you have and then on submit, return the check form. All right. Another one is how you can apply on mouse over and on mouse over out. So you can apply it by creating the animated buttons. Normally, the user can easily know that that button can be functions. They can click the button. If you use on mouse animates when a button is clicked, such as you can use a H over, and on mouse out, you also can animate when a button is normal state. Right. Another important part that you have to do for your form is the form verifications. So in this case, I just shows to you in examples how you can apply it. In this activity 14.1. Alright, so tak ada internet.
Huh? Oh, okay. Or how about you get them to put in the proper page,
Uh-huh.
but for this you end the page, no?
Ah, okay. Sorry.
No, it's okay, it's okay. So
Ada pula. Alamak, ada pula tak.
never mind,
Just continue lah, continue. Okay, dia orang akan edit Alright. No, nak buat balik semula. Ya Allah. Limited lah. Macam mana ni? Alamak.
Cubakan Linksys itu okey.
Linksys. Linksys ada password tak?
Tak ada.
Okay. Okay, now let's take a look to the examples of using event handling, right? Okay, for example here, you use onload and on unload. Okay, here welcome. Okay, so this is onload and also unload happen, right? Okay, you can see here as a simple, you use a simple function, pop up the hello world, and then goodbye, come again, bye, and another one is function welcome, hello welcome. So you can see here you use onload, come up with the welcome function, and on unload is goodbye. Alright, the next one you can see here how to use another event handling. For example, on focus on blur and on change. And the next one is on submit. Okay, if you submit, for example here, type your name and check the form. So you can see the name or the output of your input, the first name also the last name. Okay, how to do that? You can see here, this is the way how you apply it. So you have the form data here, right? And then you can see here the first value of your name, and the last name, the first name and also the last name value. And here you set the form ID is my form, and on submit return this view form data, right? Your first name and also the last name. Alright, and another one is on mouse over and on mouse out event handling. So you see this is the examples. Yeah, internet tak okay. Not connected. Tak apalah.
Do the ending part,
Ah,
then you
alright.
inform them to put in the buffer page.
Okay, okay. Alright. So after show to you a few examples of implementations of the form, especially how you can apply event handling to your form. So I really hope that you can use and create your form with different implementations of or either on mouse over or button, specific button, and so on. So you can create a good form, and at last you have to make sure if you apply this kind of form, so you have to use event handling to make sure that whatever user click in that form, there is a response for the user. So I think that's all for this topic. I really hope you learn something from this topic, and that's all for today. Thank you.